Hello everyone, and welcome back to Age of Empires 2. So I have a very interesting game for you guys today. This is pretty much what happens when you put three low elo legends on the exact same team together, and it ends up getting a little messy. So let's go ahead and start the game, and let's go ahead and introduce the players. So this is let's start with the map actually. So this is a 3v3 mega random, and this mega random in particular was quite interesting. So you can't build within a certain radius of your town center. You pretty much got the one little box to work with. So that makes it always very interesting because it limits your buildings and stuff. And it has a ton of stone to work with, a lot of gold, and wood is. I mean, it's kind of scarce, but not too much. And I just mean the amount of extra gold and stone deposits on this map. I mean, it's quite amazing. So it should be a great map for resources, and I mean, in this map I was thinking, alright, I can go for like castles and stuff. Like, it should be very interesting. So I am playing as the Cumans in the green, and I'm going to be doing most of the work for my team in this game. And I have two very good teammates. I'm playing with Joseph Tolsma, playing in the blue as the Britons, and then in the teal we have Andrew 210 playing as the Franks. So Britons, Franks, and Cumans are a pretty decent combination. Means we have good archers and good calves, so we're looking pretty good. And our opponents are, Lord Willow in the red, playing as the Franks, and then we have Panchote playing as the Japanese in the yellow, and in the purple we have Fire Leo playing as the Mongols. So all very good civs, and we're looking at what should be a very, very fun game. So, looking at the map and kind of looking at what was going on, I decided that it would be best for me to go for 2TC boom and then go into knights as fast as possible and see where I can do damage. So, I mean, it's a pretty standard start for everyone. We all pretty much do your ordinary build. I'm just kind of speed things up here to kind of get past this. But what you're going to see is some interesting uses of towers, and just, some weird base building out of pretty much everyone in this match. I mean, this one got weird. I was not expecting this. So I'm going to speed it up even further here. Let's just get to the feudal age when stuff gets interesting. So everyone's just kind of doing their normal scouting. I had a very good dark age here. I was doing good at managing my economy. I got up relatively quickly. And honestly, everything was looking great for me. So, interesting thing to note is that red starts, you got to pay attention to his houses. So, he's got three houses all in a row, which, I mean, at the moment you're thinking, it's not a big deal. And so here comes his next houses. And it's going to be another row of three. So, interesting. And he's just going to build this entire box around this base with buildings by the time the game is done. So, you just have to wait to see the end, but it just starts looking ridiculous. So, purple goes for a pretty standard build, and he's kind of doing the exact same thing. He's just going to kind of line the little box around his base with buildings and hope for the best. So, I'm on my way to feudal age right now, and purple just kind of scouting this out. So, I reached feudal age, and so I put my second TC up, and I'm thinking I'm going to put some stables up and try to go for scouts depending on how stuff is going. And I decided if I'm late to scouts, I'll probably go into light cav to see where I can do damage. So everyone arrives in the feudal age, and the Mongols are going to be the late to feudal, except gotta give purple credit. He went to gold very early on. He was setting himself up to see if he couldn't go archers in feudal age. So he's going forward with some militia, and he's going to see if he can't catch teal out off guard. So he's just going to scout him out, and he does get he does get a little damage with his militia, but not too much. I'm going to go ahead and speed things up here and show you guys what happens. So, like I said, everyone's arriving in the feudal age, and everyone's kind of doing their standard builds. I'm booming at home. Blue's doing a decent job with stuff. But the interesting thing that happens early on has to be with teal. Teal, this was a hilarious game to watch. He was an absolutely amazing teammate. Great guy, absolutely love playing with him. I mean, it's just one of those times when you go with random teammates and you just get a very nice treat like this guy. So, one thing you need to notice is he builds a tower at home between the stone and his gold. And there's nothing wrong with building towers. I mean, they're fine, they'll defend your resources. But, at the moment, they're kind of on the wrong resources. He's getting his wood line raided, it's not looking great. So, he tries fighting it, and purple comes in with his man-at-arms upgrade, and he gets a villager kill. So, he's got one tower up, so keep tally here. I mean, you can play a drinking game with the amount of towers Steel's going to put up. It's ridiculous. So, he's got one tower up, and, alright, we're doing good. So, At my base, I am going for an all-out boom as Kumans. I'm just adding farms like crazy, trying to keep my wood balanced, and I mean, Purple staying over there on Teal. Now, what I was honestly expecting was for Purple to come over to me and start harassing my wood line, because he had scouted it out, so I was fully expecting him to come up here. So I was watching this fight carefully down here, and at this point, as you can see, Teal flares his market, Blue flares his market, and the two of them start trading with each other in Feudal Age, which, I mean, it's not a great choice because trade cards take a while to pay for themselves, so it's kind of an odd thing to do. And if you look at what Red is doing, I mean, he is still building his buildings all along his outside little diamond. It's just absolutely crazy. So he's just going to keep following the exact same pattern. So he's going for just some man-at-arms and some spearmen, which is not a bad choice. But if you're going to build units early on, you need to actually do something with them. So if we look back at Teal, he's got 2 towers up, and he's secured his other gold over here. So it's not bad at all. It's looking good for him, and Teal's forced to go for stragglers. So, okay, we've all been there. And Purple just keeps on coming in with extra units, seeing what pressure he can get on him. So Purple at this point is looking absolutely great. He's got a great boom going at home. He's got buildings producing. He's got upgrades. He's looking great. So looking kind of iffy for Teal, and he adds another tower, which is just an absolutely weird choice. You're gonna slow things down here. I mean, if I was in this position, I would save my wood from these towers, build myself an archery range, and see if I couldn't get skirmishers out to deal with these archers. And, you know, that's how I would handle it. But towers is certainly not a bad choice because you do want to stay on your gold. So he does need to get wood because, I mean, otherwise he's not going to be able to reach the castle age. He needs to keep his farms going. So it's getting kind of iffy for him. So it's looking a little weird. And I'm first player to castle age. So I did not get my scout rush out in feudal age like I thought I was going to. So I have all these leftover scouts in my stable, so I upgraded them to light cav, and I'm thinking, alright, Teal can hold himself for a little longer, so I'm going to go see if I can't go kind of get some damage on yellow, because I could not see his base at the time, but I was thinking to myself, well, his score is kind of low, so I think I should be able to go and do some damage. And just looking at it now, his base was not the greatest right now. His eco was struggling, not a lot of food income. So I was thinking, alright, I can definitely do something with this. This is looking pretty good for me. But the interesting thing about yellow is, I mean, his economy at home is struggling, but the reason why is he sent man-at-arms forward. And you might be thinking, 4 man-at-arms, that's not a lot, he can't do much with that. But he starts teaming up with Purple, and they start really bothering Teal. So, again, you're going to see some more things out of yellow in this area. He's going to put some towers up here, and it's just going to get even weirder. So, Teal is up to his 4th tower now. And he's got all of his resources secured, but the one thing he doesn't have secured is a wood line. So I don't know if he was using his gold to buy wood at this point or what he was doing, but he's going for a 5th tower now, which is just an odd choice. And now here comes the 6th tower. So he's got pretty much all of his vills on gold, and he's going for pretty much nothing but towers. I mean, this is a weird build as Frank's. I mean, he could be going for cav, but he doesn't have the wood, so he's just building towers. And there's yellow back here with one random villager putting up a watchtower. So now we have yellow building towers back here. We have Teal with 6 towers in his base, soon to be 7. It's just getting absolutely ridiculous. So he's trying to sneak down here to this wood line, and just bad timing, honestly. Purple sends his archers forward and is going to see that. So everyone else starts arriving in Castle Age, and it's looking like I need to do something. So, again, just odd stuff happening in this game. Yellow back here decides, you know what, the best play for me is going to be able to put more towers back here. So this isn't towers and outposts, but he does eventually put another tower up. So yellow is just putting up just random towers in the back of the map. And now Purple is trying to take out some of these watchtowers. And honestly, he doesn't need to throw his man-at-arms away like this. I mean, he is getting some damage in on that tower, but honestly, it's not going to do too much. So, Yellow decides, alright, I'm going to build a barracks back here. That's going to be super effective. And to me, that's just a weird choice, because, I mean, based off of his eco at home, I would definitely be investing more in my food, so like I should produce something out of that barracks. But, you know, different strategies for different people. So at my base, I'm looking absolutely phenomenal. I absolutely love playing as the Kumans. I practice them with a ton. So I've got 30 farms going, and I am just booming like crazy. So I've got plenty of light cav stocked up, and I think, alright, once these last upgrades come in, I'm going to go forward and see what damage I can get in on yellow. So yellow, he got 2 man-at-arms in this barracks, and that's it. I mean, these 2 towers against cavalry units, they don't do too much, so I am pretty much in the clear to go forward and raid this. Now, I am a little hesitant to go and raid him because I know that he's got stuff back here. So I'm kind of wondering, like, is he going to build another TC back here and try to kind of sneak up on me? But no, I'm apparently invisible to everyone. They don't care about me. So he builds another tower back here, and Teal builds another tower forward. So we got towers all over the place. He repairs this tower, and he's just got nothing but towers all over his base. So at this point, everyone is in the castle age except Teal, and purple is their strongest player. He's looking great. So he's going into knights, and knights versus towers, knights are going to win. So Teal does have 9 men-at-arms, but I mean, men-at-arms versus knights, the knights got it. So he's going to go forward with his knights here, and he's going to get some serious damage in on Teal. So I'm thinking, based off the score, alright, purple's going to keep harassing Teal, so I need to go do something. So I pump out all of my cavalry units, and I send them forward. So I got 21 light cav, and I'm thinking, this is it. I can get some good damage in, maybe even end the game here if I get good damage on yellow. And, I mean, to my delight, I could not see this at the time, but he was putting up a castle, and he just started it right as my cav were arriving. So this is ideal for me because I can deny that castle. It'll make it a Daut castle for sure. And, I mean, he's got absolutely nothing protecting except 2 man-at-arms and 2 towers. So this looks great for me, and he's super slow to react. I would have at least ranked the town bell here to save my villagers, but he loses a ton of villagers. So very late on the town bell, but I get in a ton of damage on him. So the 2 man-at-arms come out, my light cav clean that up, and I'm going to lose all these light cabs to just the TC fire and the towers, but the damage is done. I mean, he's lost a ton of villagers. This is devastating to him. So I should have stayed. I should have put all of my light cav on that castle to deny it, because I don't think yellow would have been... I mean, I don't think yellow would have realized he needed to leave that to save the stone, so I could have denied him 650 stone there. So at this point, I'm like, alright, I'm good, but red's like, don't worry, man, I'll come help you. So red sends his long swords down there with 3 spearmen. So if he would have just gone all spearmen, he could have cleaned this up a lot quicker. But, I mean, they're not going to get here in time. The towers are going to kill off most of my light cav, and he's going to start pumping out villagers to try to go finish up that castle. But it's just the wrong time for it. So I believe he's going to lose these villagers here, but pathing, DE, my light cav is going to die. So he does lose 1 villager there. Second one manages to get away. And it's, I mean, I lose all my light cav here, but it's still looking great for me. So, I mean, a few managed to kind of straggle over into purple's base, but, you know, I just, he garrisons his villagers, they die. So, I immediately start creating knights, because I'm like, alright, there's more damage to be done, and I realize that, I mean, I cannot see these knights here, but they were doing a little damage to Teal's towers earlier. So I'm thinking, alright, purple's going to have to try something on Teal. So, okay, let's try this. So I'm building knights. I'm going to try to go in and wreck all of purple's economy, because I feel like I can do some serious damage that way. So, alright, looking great for me. Blue is not really doing too much. He's just booming at home. He's got 3 TCs. He's got a castle up. He's looking alright. He's building a second castle, getting longbows out. He's just going for your standard Britain's play. So, all of my knights are producing. I'm getting relics, so I'm going to be in an amazing spot here. So, the focus on this part is really on Teal. I mean, this was just hilarious to watch. So, all of his towers are going down, and it's not looking great for him. So, he had man-at-arms garrisoned in his towers, and, I mean, what lower elo players need to realize is that when you garrison man-at-arms, they don't add any extra arrows to your towers, so that's not going to do anything for you. And I know I am not a high elo player myself, but I do know that you got to garrison archers in your towers to have it fire extra arrows. So, purple should really be going in right now, because towers against knights, they don't do much, and he can clean up those man-at-arms if he wants to. He's got plenty of stuff here, but he's also got villagers forward. So I'm like, okay, this is interesting. So I'm kind of eyeing, you know, what purple's doing over here from my perspective. And, okay, the castle comes out from purple. So if you're in Teal's scenario, what I would do if I was Teal is I would take my villagers off the stone, and I would move them back to a different stone pile, and just kind of get a siege workshop up and hope for the best. But no, Teal's like, fine, you put a castle in my face, guess what, I'm going to put a castle right up next to your castle, we'll see whose castle's better. So Teal decides, you know what, what would fix this scenario right now is a Daut castle. Let's go for it. And this was just painful to watch. I was watching this and I'm like, no way. So Teal's like, oh, quick wall, I got this. Come on, we can hold. And then he's got one knight back there and it's not quite working. His tower, I mean, his castle's at 75%. It's almost up 80%. I mean, he's right there. This castle has to go up now. This has to be a good castle. And I mean, he has no villagers on. He's trying to send one forward there. The castle takes it out. And, I mean, his castle is just barely hanging in there. And the knights are in here taking out his eco, and this is just looking disastrous. And Purple's like, well, if you put a Daut castle in my face, I'm going to throw another castle up at you. And Red comes in here and is like, yeah, I'll help you. So, I mean, Red and Purple gang up on Teal. At this point, I'm like, okay, great. At this elo, people usually quit when they're under this much pressure. But I have to say, I mean, hat off to Teal. Absolutely amazing play. So he puts in the chat, need help, and Blue's like, no problem, man, on my way. So Blue goes over and helps him, and Purple does not notice that I'm sending in 30 Cavaliers into his base. He's got a whole, so this is going to be absolutely devastating. These are Cavaliers with full upgrades, and this is not going to go well for him. So I just send them in there, and they start just absolutely destroying the place. So a little bit of lag there, just because of how many units I have. So this is just interesting to watch, honestly, because Teal did get his castle up. It cost him quite a few villagers, but the castle is up. So, I mean, just weird plays from Purple. He tries making Mangadai, and there's no point in making Mangadai if your castles are this close together. I mean, at least garrison them inside your own castle. I mean, there's no point. If anything, you should be making petards or something. So he makes a ram, and he's going to put in a ton of effort to get that castle down. So Red's here, and he's trying, you know, his knights are back, and he could be doing some stuff with those, but, you know, he's going to resist. So Blue arrives with Cavaliers, and instead of sending them in, he just kind of sends them right there to sit in the castle fire, which is a weird choice. So back at Purple's base, I am absolutely destroying it. It's looking great. Purple is not going to be able to keep up his production of anything because I mean, this is pretty much the end of Purple right here. He has absolutely lost everything. This is just ridiculous. So I focus on his TCs because I'm like, alright, odds are he probably isn't happening villagers left anywhere around here, and I was correct. All of his villagers were in his TCs, and he does have 9 villagers up here in his castle's garrisoned. So, I mean, he's not going to be the end of the world for him if he loses all of his villagers here. He'll still be able to make a comeback if he wants to. So, Purple notices that, I mean, his base is falling apart, and so Red also notices it. So Red starts sending over units. He sends over long swords and 3 pikemen. I don't understand why Red would only send 3. He sent 3 spears earlier and 3 pikes this time, so I mean, 3 is not really his magic number or anything, but my Cavaliers are absolutely cleaning up everything here, and it's just looking great. So if you look at Red's base, I told you, he's gone for just this diamond shape of his base. And this is super weird. I mean, he puts a gate right here, and, I mean, there's an opening right here. So why would, I mean, I don't understand what the defense of that is when I can just walk around it, but okay, never mind. Side note there, totally. So, Blue and Teal are just stumped with these 2 castles. I mean, they don't know what to do with them. So, this is just an odd snare from the being. So, I mean, Blue does have a good answer. He goes for longbowmen and tries to get them from range in a few minutes. So, they're like, alright, you know, let's try to get some, you know, they're putting in the chat, alright, we gotta get some aggression on them. And they're like, I'm trying to point out to them, look, I'm getting Purple. You guys can handle those 2 castles for a second. We got this. So they're sending pikemen forward, but I have fully upgraded paladins, and pikemen versus paladins. My paladins are able to clean that up easily. So back at my base, I've got even more paladins in my stables. I've got 40 more paladins ready to go. So it's looking great. So all I need my teammates to do is hold right here. And this is just the interesting thing to me because I did get gold from Teal, which was very nice of them. Their trade carts were I mean, that was surprisingly generating them gold, and they gave it to me, which was very nice. And I mean, just oddly enough, yellow comes forward and decides, you know what, I'm gonna help now. So he starts taking down that barracks, and I mean, just odd stuff. Yellow has one lumberjack back here, nothing else. And at his base, he's going for a few samurai, and that's about it in a second castle. So, I mean, I've got purple cleaned up. It's looking great. Paladins, more paladins are on the way. I am just pumping out paladins after paladins, and it's just looking great. So, honestly, this match was just so fun to watch, just because of first the towers, and then we have dueling Daut castles, and then, I mean, it just got absolutely crazy. So, I mean, Blue's like, I'll send some trebs over your way. But the weird thing is, he has he has a great force of units right there. I mean, that it would be enough to go in and kill Red. It really would be. And just, what is with this match? Red's like, you know what, 2 towers in my base won't hurt either. I mean, I think I'm the only one in this game who decided, you know what, towers in my base would, I don't need those. Everyone else was like, yeah, you gotta have at least 2 towers. So just weird stuff. So, I mean, yellow is not really doing much. He's repairing his town center from the damage I did earlier. But, I mean, no one is going to have an answer for this. And, I mean, yellow, you just walked all of your pikes right past my paladins. You could have gotten at least some damage done there. But whatever, okay. So I just keep making paladins upon paladins upon paladins. And, I mean, I'm thinking the game must be over at this point because, I mean, purple's not going to come back from this. His base is devastated. I mean, the score lead for me over their team is just ridiculous. 10,000, I mean, the next closest one is purple with 5,400, and it's just not enough. So it's just getting very weird because, I mean, red is going for some pikes, which, I mean, they do help with dealing with paladins, but throwing axemen, they're not going to do a thing against paladins. My paladins will run through them with ease. So I'm just like, alright, the game should be over. Resign, purple. But no, purple is under the impression that as long as his castles stand, he can still win this game. So, okay, whatever. So, I mean, blue arrives with 4 trebuchets, and these castles are going down. And I am regrouping my paladins, and I'm thinking, alright, purple's done. I'm just leaving his palisades, 2 lumber camps. He's not going to be able to do anything with that. So I'm going to go take out yellow. So yellow should see this coming, and he should be spamming pikemen and stuff out of his barracks like crazy. I mean, he should be at least putting up some walls or something to buy himself some time. Because if you're in yellow's position, you should know this is coming. You should know that, okay, purple was absolutely destroyed, so I should be expecting something. And he has a market, so he should be able to see his unit composition. So he does see it coming, so he just patrols his units there. And, I mean, this is not even going to be close. He's got samurai and pikemen. And, I mean, 1 or 2 long swords, but this is absolutely to my advantage. So I'm going to clean this up with no problem. I mean, this is the end of his base. And back here on the home front, I mean, blue takes out both castles from purple, and it's looking great. So that's done. So okay, now you guys need, and look what blue puts in the chat. I was laughing my head off. He puts, "Shall we attack?" I'm like, yes, in all caps. I'm like, what type of a question is that? You destroy 2 castles, now you're like, well, I guess, do we do anything from here? I mean, it's just like, what a question. I mean, you're like, yes, please, go. Like, go. So now, Teal's just like, you know what? I'm going knights. So I'm just like, I mean, we could have had this plan going, a few minutes ago, we're already into the late game of this, and now you guys are just now being like, you know what? I'm gonna go. We should probably attack the enemy. That would be a great idea. So just weird stuff. So red tries to attack blue, and blue's got so many cavalier there. That's not gonna do a thing. And I mean, he's doing okay. And blue's like, yeah, kill off his units. I'm like, okay, but now I'm thinking, if you kill off his units, like, go forward, go do damage against him. So I've just got some very passive players, and Teal's going for the big plays, taking out the towers in the back. I'm not trying to be mean to these guys. They were absolutely fun to play with, but I just find this game absolutely hilarious. So okay, we're cleaning up yellow's towers in the back, but I mean, I've got yellow dealt with all the way. I mean, he is not coming back from this. I'm just going to kind of fast forward here because not much happens in the game from this point on. Yellow resigns, as he should, because, I got rid of him 100%. He doesn't have a base left. I mean, purple should resign at this point. He doesn't have anything else, but he's going to have all his villagers killed. So teal goes forward, kills his villagers, and purple is forced to just he's forced to be defeated. He refused to resign, and okay, so come on, he finally does go back and get his castle up though. Good job, teal. Really rub it in purple's face. Yeah, that castle's going up either way. You didn't know that you destroyed it and putting it back up. So I send my paladins over to red. And, this is just cleanup. He's got enough longbows coming in from up here. Blue's doing a great job pressuring from that side. I mean, as if that was necessary, but this game's over. So this is great, and game ends, and that was just absolutely fun. So, wow. So I guess the nine tower strategy out of teal was definitely well played, I guess. And just going back and putting that castle back up on the stone where he had it in the first place, just to rub it in purple's face that, yeah, it was a Daut castle before, but I got it now. I don't know what red was doing with 12 halberdiers and one trade card over here. That's just quite random. I'm not quite sure what you can accomplish with that. And, teal sends in his knights to clean up the palisade walls just to make sure that they're done. So just an absolute hilarious game. I thought it was great to play. I had an absolute blast with this one. I mean, but these teammates were very talkative before the game started. Super friendly, super talkative after the game. Really giving out good compliments. Just really had a good time with these guys. So shout out to everyone in this game. They were absolutely amazing. Our opponents put up a good fight. They were great to play against. I mean, no one was toxic or anything. Good sportsmanship all the way around. And just an absolutely amazing game. So that's what happens when you put three low elo legends on the exact same team with each other. I mean, I definitely played very good here. I'm not the best player, but Kumans are definitely my strong suit. So, I mean, this was definitely a good game for me. I enjoyed it. Blue did a great job through the entire thing. I mean, playing as Britons, going for 3 castles, longbowmen, full upgrades. I mean, that's just great for Britons. And, I mean, teal definitely could have gotten some more knights out, but under the pressure that he was under was just tremendous. I mean, I'm not quite sure what elo teal was. He was probably between 900 and 1100. So we're kind of in the average area of things. So I mean, at this elo, players usually quit when they have castles in their face and a ton of pressure. So the fact that teal did not give up and actually stuck with it, blue came over and helped him and actually cleaned stuff up. Great teamwork to see that, and just I mean, shout out to this guy for not giving up, because it honestly is very sad at this elo when you see people who get attacked and just decide, you know what, I'm done with this game, not fun. But this guy did an amazing job just making sure to hang in there and do his best to really not let the team down. So he was absolutely amazing. He bought me the time I needed to go after purple. And I mean, these two guys were excellent teammates. I mean, granted, this was not a pro game, but these two guys worked very well together. I enjoyed playing with them, and our opponents were, very respectful, and they did a great job. So I'm just gonna look at the end game stats here. I mean, not even close, but it was still a fun game. So there's a timeline for you, and just all in all, a very fun game.